Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Expanse, Season 3, Episode 3. It's called Assured Destruction. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. Notably leaving off the mutually that I'm so used to seeing. I feel like I never
Yeah,
see Assured Destruction on its own.
I think that was supposed to be the statement. Is like,
Mm.
this isn't mutual. This is
Oh,
just
exactly,
we.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Because it's all Aaron Wright's mind games and, it's scheming and, his own agenda and
yeah,
everything else. But so that's a whole thing. It's kind of like how you never see the word unmitigated without being followed by disaster.
disaster. Yeah, no, it's true.
Think of another word that unmitigated goes in front of.
Can't be
You
done.
are an unmitigated ginger.
This doesn't work, does it?
I'm sure it makes sense, but yeah, it
I'm
doesn't
not
sound
sure if
right.
it does.
Does it not? I don't know.
I mean, technically, I guess, but it doesn't really work.
Anyway, so we had the political stuff. We had Secretary General. We had Aaron Wright try to convince them to launch this attack. They've got the locations of two of these ships, these Mars ships, these stations
Yeah,
up in space, and they've got stealth tech, but we've tracked down two of them, and we can kind of predict what the other three are going to be based on where those two are. Uh, so if we fire off them first, there's a good chance we'll kill them. But he's like, yeah, but if we don't hit them, and if they get to fire first before they get destroyed, that'll hit civilians. That'll hit actual places on Earth. Like we're actually risking
yeah. We're
lives.
we're hitting a military target. So if
Yeah,
we get it, great. We've got that. But if we miss, Mars doesn't lose anything.
yeah. So it becomes a struggle for him to make this decision, and he goes to Anna for help, who basically is like, no, 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 like you try to justify the loss of life. I mean, he doesn't actually tell what the situation is. He doesn't actually give her the details. He just, he's like, oh, this speech, maybe we should talk more about the difficult decisions we have to make. And she's like, and she kind of like sees through it and kind of gets that he's trying to justify something that he's about to do, or justify something, some tough
Yeah.
choice that he's going to make. He's like, no, no, no. Any good leader like loses as few lives as possible. She's very strict on this. And he, because of that, even when he's told we've got an 82% chance of not taking any casualties, once they'd found like another one of these stations, he's like, no, that's too high, not enough.
Yeah, the moment I realized is when she says, slightly paraphrasing is, but don't try pretending your holy war is righteous. Just pray that it's justified. Which I thought was like, okay, she's not saying don't do it. She's like, just if you are gonna do it, it better be you better be in the right.
But of course, it kind of like comes back to bite them in this weird way. I hate anything that makes Aaron Rate look that he's correct in anything because he's
Because he's
awful.
a slimy little prick.
But the end eventually he's like, okay, let's do the go ahead, let's do it. And the big cannons fire off into space, and it hits one, it hits two, it hits three. The fifth one though jams, and then they kind of get it working. Okay, right, so now we're fired. Okay, so okay, first one hit, second one hit, third one hit, fifth one also hits, but it took longer and they could see it coming, so they fired off a shot first. And South America, a city in South America, gets nuked essentially.
Yeah, 2 million people they say were inside the blast radius.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it's like, okay, and Aaron Wright's like, what happened with that last cannon? Whoever's like, controlling it. He's like, there was a jam, something to do with, having it heat up earlier on and get ready to fire, but
Yeah,
then,
it was to do with the power cycle.
yeah. And it's like, oh shit, he kind of inadvertently caused this
Yeah,
to
the
happen.
threat, the previous threatening to do it, and the indecision kind of backfired.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. This is the thing that makes Aaron Wright so slimy. Is he goes to Anna afterwards, and he makes it clear that her advice is responsible because she's watching the news. She's saying, "Oh, evacuations have been attempted, but it's impossible for now." And it's like all this doom and gloom. And he comes up, he's like, "Oh yeah, I mean." Yeah, he came to you for it. It's good that you're here. And again, he does it in a very sort of passive aggressive way where he's like, oh, it's good that you're here now for me. I need you more than ever because he made this choice and he hesitated, and because of that, this has happened. It didn't have to happen, and he's passing the blame on her. He's making sure she knows that she can. I mean, it's not really her fault, but he's really making it sure that she thinks it is, that she feels it.
Yeah, because
So,
he can't bear the idea that he's to blame.
oh, absolutely, yeah. What you mean, Aaron, right?
Yeah, for anything, because his decision making.
I don't think he actually cares if he's to blame.
No,
No, I took this as pure just slime. He's happy that the Secretary General thinks he's to blame, and he then goes out his way to make sure that Anna feels that she's to blame. I think this is purely a play to them, not. I don't
No,
think this has anything to do with his own guilt. I don't think he feels any guilt.
no, probably not. Then
I
that's
think
fair.
I think he has to have a soul before he feels guilt over this. To him, this is all just power plays.
No, it's just true.
He's like you in that way. He's not a ginger, but he's in a metaphysical sense, he's a ginger.
He's an honorary ginger.
He's an honorary ginger. But of course, meanwhile, back on the Rasi, we have, of course, Avasarala's there, Bobby's there. Bobby almost immediately sees like a defaced Martian flag, and she's like, "Oh, who did this? I'm talking about
Yeah.
this right now." And Amos is like, "Oh, I did that." It's like, "Did you think that was funny?" He's like, "I mean, I don't think it's funny now."
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, it was just right at the time. And Holden eventually shows up. He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, the Martians are getting to know each other." Because obviously at this point, Alex has stepped in and he's trying to calm everything down, and it's all going off. Everything's very hostile. And Vassarala eventually gets up as well, of course.
Yeah,
And,
she's all right. They're like, yeah, she's just some burns, a bit of rest, she'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, what was it said? Like, was it like 3 more minutes at that speed would have killed her? Probably. Is that what
Yeah.
Holden said?
Yeah, I think so.
But she gets up and she talks to Holden. And is like, "Oh, it makes sense that it's you." And she talks about him being a hero and, "Oh, we have to go do this because of this." And obviously Bobby's already like heard that. "Oh no, we're going to Io because of Praxis' daughter," and she's like against it. And he's like, "No, we're going to Io for this." And he's like, "Oh, that's very noble, but like, is that worth is one person's life, daughter, worth the entire war?" And Holden, of course, has become very like the opposite of what he was at the start of the show. It's very less righteous. It's more, he's kind of like backed away from that because he even laughs in the face of her. Says, "Hey, I've said that before. Like I've heard that from everyone, including me." And he kind of shuts her back down.
Yeah, I do have to say though, it's really notable how he's still, as much as he's shifted in that way, he's kind of the same guy. He's shifted obsession.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think that's like a character flaw for him.
Yeah, because he's just as obsessed with this as he ever was with anything before, to an unhealthy degree. I'm sure it's going to come back and bite him for not looking at the bigger picture eventually.
Absolutely, and I think ultimately his character arc over the course of the show is that eventually he'll make peace with the fact that he keeps trying to like change who he is, and he just accepts that no, I'm going to do the right thing, regardless or whatever. Assuming he has like a heroic or noble end, and not something that goes down a dark path.
He has a real problem of adjusting to any sort of plan changes. Like he has a mission and he's like, that's it, that's all I'm focused on. I'll do that one thing. And if something comes up unexpected, he has a very hard time course correcting.
This was obviously we had like a city being nuked, but otherwise it was a very low key episode in terms of it was mostly them talking on the ship. But most of it was fascinating because when Avasarala gets up and she's on the main deck and they're talking about what's going on, they're talking about the proto-molecule, and eventually it all comes up because they actually start bringing up, this is why this is important. We have to get and stop this war because Mao was doing this and he's developing proto-molecule soldiers and they all have this glance, this moment of like, do we tell her? And then it's like, here's some footage of our ship, and it's like, oh, we fought one of these things and we killed it, and like,
and Bobby's pretty impressed.
Yeah, Bobby's like, oh yeah, it took out my entire team. Like, you killed one of these things? He's like, yep.
I think she immediately respected them a bit more after that.
Oh yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, it's the sort of thing that it's Bobby's language essentially.
It's like, okay, you guys were confident enough as a team to take out one of those, and we saw how well oiled her unit was, and they stood no chance.
And it basically convinces Vassarala they should go to Io because she learns that they're trying to build more soldiers there using kids, one of them being Praxis' daughter, and it's like, okay, suddenly this seems like a good idea, seems like a positive thing to do even on our mission for what we're doing. And then it comes up, of course, that we have to make sure that the proto-molecule doesn't end up with the belt, because he's like, oh, knowing your track record, you crew, you'll probably give it to the belt because you keep helping the belt out in various ways.
Well, actually,
it's like, they already have it, you absolute idiots. Yeah. And she starts grilling Holden for it, and it's like, obviously Naomi speaks up, like, no, it was me, like I gave it to them, and that makes them have a very hostile relationship. Like the scene later on where they're in the canteen. And they're like, we're not going to be friends, and like they're sparring back and forth, and it's like this clash of ideologies. And she was like, hey, and because Naomi accuses her, she's like, you actually like aren't going there to destroy the proto-molecule. You're going there because Earth doesn't really have it themselves. They're like, sure, Ehrenreich and Mao have it, But that doesn't mean that Earth as a society has it.
Here's the thing, just this whole episode, mutually assured destruction. It's the nuclear deterrent. Is okay. Everyone's at the same pace. They probably do need a sample because the belt's got some. I think Mars have some, right?
Yeah, Mars have some for sure, and
Yeah,
yeah, Mao and Strickland have samples, but they're not
right.
working for the Earth regime.
No, no. I think the way to balance out as horrific as it is okay if Earth gets some, everyone's on a level field again. So the threat kind of goes back down. It's an awful way of putting it, but it's too late to take the genie's out of the bottle. You can't take it away
Yeah,
from Mars and the belt right now. So you kind of just have to go. All right, Earth, you've
do you know,
come up to the big leagues
I
almost.
actually love that we spent 2 seasons almost trying to avoid it getting out, and then it eventually did. It's like it's almost like if you were doing like a story about nuclear arms race, and the story of like trying to stop it from happening, if there was any such efforts before it happened, and then it's okay, now it's out. We have to actually make sure that both sides have it. Like I love that we spent that time. This is how serious this is. But once it did get out there, okay, everyone has to have it, or
Yeah,
one
because I,
side's
I am
toast.
completely on that side at this point. Because what's to stop Mars or the belt just going, hey, screw you, Earth.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is. But of course, the theme of the episode is that it isn't balanced. It's imbalanced.
Exactly.
We have Earth thinking that Mars are going to attack, so or Ehrenreich at least is trying to convince everyone of that, so they'll fire back. And then likewise, Earth doesn't have the protomolecule,
Hmm.
at least not outside of this secret little regime that aren't necessarily working for everyone
Yeah,
else.
the Earth as a whole has no information on the pro molecule.
Yeah, I mean, Ehrenreich's done a good job of keeping it all kind of secret to them.
Yeah.
Anything he's been doing, Eddie knows about it, all that
Uh,
stuff.
they've tried. They're interested. Obviously, they keep talking about Venus,
Yeah, of
but
course, yeah.
they don't have a sample. They don't have a project going. Like Mars obviously has a project going. The belt has something going, but
Uh,
Earth have nothing.
I will say I am continuously loving Avasarala's hatred of space and everything in space. The scene where she was learning to use the mag boots was particularly amusing. Amos basically, for the first time I think in the history of the show, someone made her speechless. Because she's like, okay, how do I do this? This is this infernal thing, and he's like, alright, you put your heels down, and then you just walk like you're in pumps. It's like, how do you know what it's like to walk in pumps? Like, I wasn't always in space.
Mm. Yeah, we got a bit more of Amos's backstory this week.
Oh sure, yeah, go on.
Yeah, just about how he where he grew up and the sort of life he had, and we get this story of how no one gets out of there alive. And so how'd you get out? And it's like I died, and
Yeah.
and he talks about how everyone there thinks he's dead, and they have no idea he's out here doing all this stuff, and it's like okay, it really gives you this idea of why he's so hardened the way he is.
It does make you think about like, how nice is Earth as a whole? Like, some places are nice, some places are bad. But is it more grand scale? Like, it's not that great, or is like what's the ratio? Is it similar to what things are like now, or is it like much worse? Is it much
It's
better?
it's really hard to say because like we've seen the extremes,
Yeah.
but I don't know how that speaks for the majority of the planet.
Is it overpopulated? So you've got your 1% who are all quite cushy, and then you have this big 99% that are all just
Yeah, because we've seen
scrambling
the,
for
the
scraps,
real
basically.
slums like last
Yeah.
season with with Bobby Agslorn, but I assume there's a level above that, but not quite to the extent that we see in all the government positions.
Yeah, some
That
sort of lower middle class kind of.
some sort of normalcy,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that looks like on Earth at the
Or
minute.
hell, even just working class. If the slums are the poverty line, then
Yeah,
just a working class, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but it does make me question the state of the Earth as a whole. Because that's the thing with Mars is we don't know. We don't know like how many like quote unquote countries there are on Mars. Like is it just one big colony that's got a lot of
I
people in it, or
yeah I always get the impression it's much more unified.
yeah, no, yeah, it makes sense given their whole militaristic leanings.
Yeah. That like the whole thing that they're all working towards the one goal of making Mars habitable.
Make Mars great for the first time.
Essentially, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So they have this really common goal that does bind them in a way that Earth doesn't really have.
yeah. No, it's all interesting stuff. And like I said, Vassaral and Naomi like sparring verbally and like Naomi calling her out on her shit. But I think it's really interesting that right now Naomi is kind of the one dissenting voice amongst the crew. Everyone else is all for going to Io. Everyone else is all for doing this. But we do have that really sweet scene with Alex, where he kind of like offers us some food. He's like, I'm still mad as hell about that. You know, you're giving the proto-molecule to the belt and Fred Johnson, but you know, I don't hate your guts, and you know, if you want to talk about what's going on, I saw you looking at Tycho Station and the other ship. Like I saw you looking at it. Speaking of Alex and sweet moments, or bittersweet moments, perhaps more so, he gets a response from his wife. We got that message back because we see him. He likes to hold his. Oh, I'm going to take down the cloaking for a little bit just to do some tests. Like, okay, make it quick. But he's actually just wanting to get the message in that he's received. And you know, she's like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. It's this kind of sad thing, and it's like,
It's like, you know, I'm really glad you're alive. Don't get me wrong. Because she didn't really know, but she's like, you know what? I'm sorry, but it's too late. You went too long. I'm glad you've got something that you're doing that's important. I hope you're, you know, happy doing it.
And I think that's part of the motivation in the following scene. Beyond just being nice to Naomi, I think, like, hey, I don't want to burn all these bridges here as well. Like, he actually reaches out and says, hey, do you want some food? It's really good. Yeah. Not real cheese, but the love it's made with is. It's really cheesy, the Alex line, but it's, you know, it's what he does well.
Yeah.
And as well, that's a sweet scene. And the music was really kind of sweet during that scene as well. It was kind of this bonding moment, because I feel like the crew have been kind of in a tense way for a while. So, and I think if anything, Alex is kind of the heart of the crew, because he is the one who's likable and tries to like keep the peace and bring them all back down.
Yeah, definitely.
More often than not.
He's definitely usually the most level-headed, relaxed. I think it comes with, you know, being the pilot. You know, he hasn't got time to worry about all the other bollocks that's going on. He's just got to get them in and out.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, all that stuff was good. So they're off to IO, and that'll be good fun. Speaking of IO, though, we did get some stuff with Strickland and Praxis' daughter, and of course Mao. And interesting development here, where Mao actually kind of befriends Praxis' daughter a little bit, and we see Praxis' daughter with a friend who's got the proto-molecule already in him, and he does some sort of Spider-Man-esque.
Yeah, he seems really happy. He's, you know, jumping about
until he's not anymore.
Yeah. Up until he's just dying.
Yeah, he starts having a seizure very suddenly, just in the middle of the floor, and everyone kind of freaks out and they deal with it. But Mao witnesses all this, and he tells Strickland at the end, because there's several points where his daughters come up in conversation, where he mentions my daughter's like that cartoon when they were your age. Like, are they here now? Where are they? It's like, and he just kind of says, they're not here. And it's
Praxis' daughter, you know, comes up to him and says, are you a parent here? Like, you know, is one of these kids yours? He's like, yeah, none of the kids, no one that you'll know.
And I don't think we can quite redeem Mao. He's done a lot of awful things and been part of a lot of awful things, but I think it's an interesting bit of depth to add to him here, where he's feeling regret about what he's doing.
I think it's showing he has a line.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're basically torturing children. This is stopping right now.
I don't think he actually realized the full extent of what was happening here. Because, you know, he seems very genuine when he's interacting with the kids.
Yeah, and then of course Strickland, because if anything, because we were talking about the hierarchy here with Strickland and Mao, and how he works under Mao, and I feel like here, like, I'm getting the signs of that Strickland might go off book and be like the mad scientist who goes rogue behind his back. That's kind of where I feel like it's going right now.
The real question is, does Strickland go elsewhere for support and funding, etc.?
Does he go straight to Ehrenreich?
Exactly.
Does he go to someone on Mars? Does he go to the Bell? I don't know.
He's a real loose cannon, isn't he?
Because that's actually one thing, is like, if the Belt did like do anything like this, like, I'm wondering if we get a story down the line where the Belt actually loses Naomi's trust in it, or the OPA.
Yeah.
Like, is there a point where she maybe loses her, or because she's very devoted to them at this point? Like, the Belt, you know, deserve this, deserve that, and I wonder if there is going to be a point where Fred Johnson or co, maybe Jared Harris's character, like, where they do something just too over the line, where she's not willing to approve of it, where she's not willing to go along with it.
Yeah, I assume it'll be a case of them holding the resources hostage, because that's, you know, the whole point of the Belt is that they control all the resources. It comes from here to Earth and Mars, respectively.
Yeah.
So if they just hold it ransom, you know, especially in wartime.
Yeah. No.
It's a huge power play.
So no, I just wonder. Like, I wonder if they cross a line that shakes up her devotion, because I think that'd be an interesting arc for Naomi to go through,
Yeah.
where we've gradually learned over the first 2 seasons how devoted she is, how much she is part of that. Because I remember that episode where she was with what's her face? I forgot her name. Fred Johnson's like right hand woman. Where they had a night, they went dancing, they played some racquetball together. It was a whole thing, and it was like this bonding because they're both part of the belt, and they both kind of bond over their origins, and that was like a big first signpost for her. And then like, since then, hiding the protomolecule, giving it to Fred Johnson, all of that stuff. Like we've built that up, and I feel like Naomi's kind of either going even more devoted in, I don't want to say extremism, but she could go down an even more extreme path, let's say, whether or not that leads to extremism itself. Or does she lose her faith in the belt, or at least in the practices of the people running it, because they do something too severe, and she then becomes more of a third party like the rest of the team, who are all kind of undevoted to anyone in particular at the moment.
They have attachments and loyalties, but they're not strong enough to define any of their choices.
Yeah, because it feels like when Holden and Alex and Amos is kind of like not really giving a shit a lot of the time, but
yeah,
it sounds whenever they're debating what to do. I mean, sometimes your Alex will say, "Hey, no, we can't do that to like these innocent Martians or whatever."
He's more sympathetic to the Martians, but he doesn't dictate that. Okay, we have to side with the Martians.
Yeah, because the whole thing last season and the whole first 2 seasons was like, no, we can't let this get out because it'll hurt everyone. It wasn't like, we don't just want it to not hurt this, our group.
So I think it begs the question: is which crew member is the one that suggests that Earth should have a sample of the protomolecule as well? Which one of them realizes that, okay, it's out there, Earth needs some?
And is Naomi a hypocrite if she tries to stop them?
Exactly, because she's the one who tried to even it out to the belt. Like she's like, okay, well, Mars has the belt. All right, go on then. You can get your leg up. So if she tries to stop it, that's a real dick move. I feel like it would mean the most coming from Alex.
It would
given
be,
that we're talking about how his Martian sympathies, but he doesn't want to see Earth destroyed. He doesn't want that.
I mean, arguably, it would make even more sense coming from Bobby. That said, I don't know if she ever would. Whereas Alex,
I don't know if she's quite there yet.
Yeah.
I think she's still, as much as she was disavowed, and she's still kind of overly loyal. And I mean, we saw just this episode how she reacted to a flag being defaced.
Damn it, Cat.
Whereas Alex, I think, is at that point where it would mean a lot coming from him, and it would be a sign of trust.
I wonder if there was the comedy version of this scene where like she brings this up and Alex goes, "Wait, there was a what? Down where? Who did this? Amos?" And just slapped him in the face like without a pause. They just didn't know about it. He never saw it because he's never down that part of the ship. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be funny.
But no, yeah, he's not there. So no, I think this episode, while it was a quieter episode in terms of action and space battles and all that stuff, the show is sometimes even at its best when it's doing the drama, the character progression, the political stuff.
I think this might be my favorite one this season so far out of the three. I think it's the most well balanced in what we're getting.
I think the most interesting and exciting part for me is the clash between Avasarala and Naomi. I feel like as soon as they started arguing about like the belt should have the right to this, and she's like, oh, maybe if you supported a leader that wasn't like the OPA, maybe we'd take you like half seriously. Like, because I feel like Avasarala has never felt biased before, but that scene, she felt like, oh, she's looking down upon them.
Oh, do you know what it is? It was the to parallel it to present day real world. It's
sure.
The America looking at a country and going, yeah, okay, we see that they were democratically elected, but we don't agree with them, so we're not gonna deal with them, essentially. And there'll be some deposing going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so I think that stuff's really interesting, and it's the show doing all this other stuff that's not necessarily the space battles this episode, and that's okay. So no. Yeah. But hey, that is The Expanse. That is season 3, episode 3. So let us know what you thought of this one. The comments below, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. Otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?